Alright, it's August 8th, 2021. I turned on, it's early in the morning, I turned on the news feed from Ad Council for whatever they're putting on here after yesterday's whatever. And it says in East New York, this is the reporter. There was a whole bunch of shootings, whatever. I'm not really worried about who died because who the fuck cares? There's way too many of them. Here's the thing, though. I did watch this morning, and then it says Hampton's Reserve, and there was a water leak. Now, I know that there is some kind of problem with understanding between the federal and the national level. There's telecommunications and there's broadcasting, which are now has lost the ability to cyber police, which is really, really scary because you have these unannounced broadcast journalists, like movie critic shitbags and theater experts, putting together this big elaborate hoax and then selling, like battling it out in like video game world. The thing is that the initial, before they hit the action button, they'll play it out on some rogue system, and then all of a sudden they'll teleport and sell the characters into the slots, and that's what then they'll live through. That's the kind of security that's been broken, because I have them selling major cities being Chicago, New York, Washington, D.C., Maryland, in Baltimore. Now I find out that Boston, Massachusetts, there's Atlanta, Georgia, there's a whole bunch of southern cities where they literally just painted the world a different way, and now all of a sudden these people are here. It's a swarm tactic, SWARM. Where did the white people go that were running the office, the area, and the jobs before the slots were painted with the wrong demographic population? That's what I want to fucking know. Unfortunately, there's nobody to fucking ask because everybody's fucking human and they're all area dumb, fucking, and useless. I saw something this morning about the Yosemite National Park out in whatever. They paid $120 to go on the railroad, then another whatever for stagecoaches, and it was all my color, and that was the beginning of the national parks. Then at the end of that, it said that there were soldiers from the Indian War from Africa that came over and did the same thing, or were in the area. No, they weren't. Because the last time I checked, soldiers in Africa, unless they have a aircraft or a boat, they can't get here. They certainly then can't get from either West Indies or India, the country, across whatever continent, then the divide being the water mass, into somebody else's continent, and then across that continent to purposely target a national park that was not federally known. How the fuck did that happen? All area dumb, fucking useless. I'm just curious. They're not computer geniuses, they're not computer wizards, they're not artists, they're not an artist colony. They are targets of a different kind that need to be taken down because they have swarmed and infested an advanced, ancient, sacred place, and they are painting the manifestation dangerously, and it's destabilized. Because of what I know for a fact, for what they did to my position. I'm a global position, animate. I'm an Infinity 3. I need my Infinity 4 to complete the Infinity 7. I'm living in Infinity 7 as an Infinity 3 by myself. The 8 is broken. I need the Infinity 4. If I don't have him, then it destabilizes the pressure in the system, and then all sorts of other things go wrong.
Shooting overnight in East New York, another man was shot just a few feet away.
So she says nobody gives a shit.
These two incidents were connected. We're still waiting to learn more on possible suspect information. Reporting live from East New York, Brooklyn, Christina Fan, CBS 2 News.
Christina, thank you. We're following breaking news in Upper Manhattan this morning. 4 people, including 2 children, are hurt after being struck in a hit and run in Washington Heights. It happened last night around 10 o'clock near Audubon Avenue and 183rd Street. Police say someone in a Mercedes-Benz hit a group of people, including 2 women and 2 boys ages 8 and 9, then drove off. Both children and one of the women are stable. Another woman is in critical condition. Police are now looking for that driver. This morning, crews are cleaning up after a water main break at Penn Station. It was first reported shortly after 11:30 last night. You can see water dripping from the ceiling in one passageway. The fire department was notified and utility workers responded as several water lines
Hampton
were shut down.
Reserve.
So far, no reports of Long Island Railroad or Amtrak service being affected. Crowds were forced out onto the street at a concert event.
That's the Water Power Authority at Hampton Reserve level for the MTA, which is the Metropolitan Transit Police Authority for the Masterpiece and the Masterpiece Theater Company that's having a problem because of all the fucking swarming shitbags and the outlaws that are everywhere.
Event in Midtown overnight. It happened at the popular Webster Hall on 11th Street near 3rd Avenue in the East Village. We're told that some metal railing around the stage may have collapsed during a performance. No word of any injuries. Police were requested to assist with crowd control on the streets outside. This morning, the investigation into allegations of sexual misconduct by Governor Cuomo is moving forward. The Albany County Sheriff's Department is now investigating a complaint that could lead to...
Now, I just want to say this. I live in this disgusting, what they call flat apartment. I have 96-inch ceilings, which is from the floor to the ceiling, it's 96 inches. I'm only the size of a Soviet. I'm only 5'6". I live in this open container apartment where I walk out and there's no security whatsoever. It's not like it's a community that's surrounded by a PENN. It's not Citadel certified. None of that. This man lives in Albany with Albany security. He lives in a Citadel environment in some gigantic mansion I call Gracie's mansion, which is gated. He's got round-the-clock guards. He's got his own compound of whatever lives in there with him that nobody sees. Nobody knows what they look like. Nobody knows who's coming and going. Nobody knows what color they are. Nobody knows what country they're from. Nobody has any fucking clue. And that's the level of security that this man is fortunate enough to live on and at. Me, on the other hand, the actual infinity child, is out in the middle of fucking harm's way in a Brussels sprout that's being targeted and shaken baby syndrome, turning my genetic ability to perform into a NICU, NICU situation. I don't begrudge him, by the way, for living up there and living that way. If I had it my way, I would enter the compound and I would never fucking leave. However, I don't have it as wonderful as he does. I live out in the middle of the territory where they are targeting the white kids and painting over their life stories. I have a specific example, and it is on Air Force record. Judith, I think it's Judith Marie Gunder, my aunt, who's born August 2nd, 19 something or other, either 40s or 50s. It's got to be in the 50s. She was named after a candy striper. She was living in Belrose with Robert Casella, and they had bought a house there, and I had stayed over. I went down for the nap. We had come back into the driveway in her car. We said hello to Tom. He was a white guy. Small house, just like Judy's. I think his was a white house. Judy's was like a yellowy white color, like pale eggshell. We said hello to him. I said, I'm really tired. I need to go and lay down for a little bit. So we did. Judy put me down for a nap. I wake up. We go outside to drive me back to my house for dinner. And I look, and the house is no longer white. And Judy's afraid to knock on the door because she thinks she's crazy, and I don't know that this is not normal. And I'm like, and I'm just explaining it because it's my normal. And I'm like, no, Judy, Tom had a white house, and it was small. I was like, and now it's the color of, and I didn't have a color for it, but it was like the color of, like if you puked up like pumpkin. And it had a really dark-skinned man with really dark jet black hair. And I'm like, where did Tom go? How long does it take to build a house? I mean, like, the house changed from a one-story building to a two-story building just like that over my nap time. So now, how do you explain that to a human? I mean, Judy was there. She said if she didn't have me, I explained it to the man on the phone. We had like a conference with somebody really important, I heard, but the names I didn't really know. I mean, it was the 80s, 1980s when this happened. And then, like, Tom was never found, as far as we know, or as far as I know. Just disappeared. His story got written over, and all of a sudden, in, like, computer graphics, but it goes into action when the human reboots after it goes down for what I call maintenance, which you call sleep. And then you open your eyes again, and all of a sudden some of the storyboard and landscape is totally written over and is no longer. And sometimes it's just small changes, but sometimes it's gigantic demographic, complete populations just totally storyboarded over and rewritten out on some computer graphics. And I have no idea what happens to the people that were written over. Star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It's August 8th, and it's the year 2021, which is Century 20, year 21. I'm the Centurion 19. I'm Centurion. I arrived Century 19, year 78 for this particular storyline. In Infinity 3, I belong to Infinity 4, but I'm at the bottom of a 7. The Infinity Gamma or the Infinity 7 at this point is a problem with gathering me and bringing me back to a stability feature with the Infinity 4.